If you happen to know what number it is to call to get you in case of this? Greg, you know what number to call me on, or I should call you on in case everything goes nuts over here and I have to call in? Okay, and then when you put me, I can actually hear the station in real time as well. Is there a way to do that? Okay. Let's see. People are expecting Armageddon, so. I'm here. No worries.
You're listening to our live team coverage here on WDBO as we have activated our WDBO Storm Center due to both a tornado warning and multiple severe thunderstorm warnings that are currently active in the WDBO listening area. You can use the open mic now to let us know where you are and what you're experiencing.
I want to say about 6 minutes ago, over here at Hobby Lobby at the Loop, this lady walked out with some type of special cardboard, what it looked like. And if she weighed 10, 15 pounds, she probably would fly. That gust of wind shook my car, and wow, I mean, it just got windy, and then it kind of just comes and goes now.
Yeah, my wife sent me a video a little while ago. She took our dog out for a walk, and it looked like she was flying a kite because our dog is very tiny, and you could see the wind blowing through his ears, and looked quite likely he was about to take flight there. As we check our drive here, oftentimes when we have our severe weather, Paul Cross, as you well know, that is often associated with severe traffic as well. How are things shaping up on the roads?
so far okay right now, Joe. Things are not as bad as what we had thought they would be at this time, and of course, we're just on kind of a delay here. It's going to hit us, but not as early as it was expected. So we have some rain right now in the Mount Dora area, and as the weather forecasters just told us, it's coming in from like the northwest. So eventually it'll get its way down. In DeBerry right now, I'm hearing lots of thunder. So we do have some traffic instances where this is a broken down semi truck. It just decided to stop and it couldn't get over to the right shoulder. So it stayed there blocking 3 right lanes. This is I-4 eastbound before Princeton Street. The streets are dry right now there, but you still have those 3 right lanes closed, and that's got traffic really backed up. We also have a crash on the I-4 westbound ramp to US 27. So as we get through the Joe Kelley program, we will keep you updated on everything you need to know with this storm and traffic. Didn't get what you wanted for Christmas? There's the song, Joe. Get to Refresh Computers. Dell computers starting at just $129. Refreshcomputers.net and the Superstore in Longwood. From the WDBO Traffic Center, I'm Paul Cross.
And Laurel, I know we're juggling a lot here this hour, but if you could once again hit us up with that key word so that our listeners could have their chance at winning $1,000.
Absolutely. Everybody needs to open up that WDBO app from their phones right now. Tap the payroll payout button and enter the word cruise. CRUISE. Cruise right now for your chance at winning $1,000.
We do have a tornado warning that is in effect for another few minutes until 5:15 p.m. for northwestern Volusia County. So be mindful. If you're in northwestern Volusia County, you'll want to go indoors and remain indoors. Stay away from glass. This is a radar indicated tornado. That means it wasn't spotted, but the image on the radar appears as if it is a tornado. We'll keep a close eye on that. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning that is also in effect for another 20 minutes for pretty much our entire listening area. Which includes parts of Orange and Volusia counties. I will say that at this moment, the line of storms pretty much runs parallel to I-4. So all of the heavy storm activity is going to be to the west side of I-4. If you're on the east side of I-4, you may not even be getting rain just yet. And it's kind of crossing over into downtown as we speak. That's the I-4 line, as you well know. We'll continue our live Storm Center team coverage straight ahead here on WDBO.
It seems like everywhere you look right now, someone is sick. This year, prepare your family for
Hi, friends. Thanks for joining us on this crazy day. The schedule's kind of out of the window until we get out of Storm Center, so excuse us as the normal patterns aren't being held. Smart, David. Very smart. No reason to be out and driving in this for sure. Because even if you can, everybody else can't, right? We've seen how people drive in normal storms, much less storms that are spitting out tornadoes. So stay where you are. The severe thunderstorm warning should end for most of us around 5:30. We do have watches for much of Central Florida, tornado watches until 9 p.m. So it's probably going to keep storming, but it shouldn't be as bad, hopefully, post 5:30. We're still watching, though. Hi, Chris. Oh, Michael, I'm glad you're home safe. Yeah, I know Claremont's bad. Marie says it's bad. My husband's texted me and said it was pretty bad. So stay inside. Marie, I'm sorry you had to get a new car battery. That's never fun. Better than being dead on the side of the road in the car, though, I suppose, huh? Interesting. Man, that's funny, Michael. They covered it 100%. Nice. O'Reilly's for the win. Oh, you love this weather, Chris? Yeah, the destruction's never good, but my biggest complaint with this weather, besides that it throws off my chill time here at WDBO. Nah, I kid. This is what we're here for. But it makes me sleepy. Any storms make me sleepy, you know? Cloudy, dark. I'm like, oh, it's time for soup and a nap. Oh, boo, Marie. Yeah, I've been part of AAA for a long time. They've saved my butt plenty of time. I love AAA.
With the resources of Severe Weather Center 9 and the National Weather Service, Storm Center coverage has been activated. Orlando's severe weather coverage starts now.
Hey, for just joining us, I'm Joe Kelley in the WDBO Storm Center, and we are fully staffed and activated today on duty with Laura Lee, Paul Cross, Greg Rhodes, Josh McCarthy. Our whole team is here today as we've got severe storms all across Central Florida. We'll start with the most severe of those storms, and that is a tornado warning that is in effect for another 15 minutes. This is for parts of Volusia County. Let me zone in on the right tornado warning here. The Volusia County tornado warning should be expiring at this minute. I don't think that they're going to be renewing that, and that tornado warning should be dropping here momentarily. In the meantime, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for another 15 minutes, and that is going to be for West Orange County. If you're out in the Horizon West area, Apopka, Ocoee, Winter Garden, you're seeing some extremely heavy rain and storms there at this hour. There is wind moving at upwards of 70 miles an hour. Wind gusts. There's expect damage to rooftops, to sidings, to trees. Locations impacted include, as I mentioned, Apopka, Ocoee, Winter Garden, Leesburg, and Eustis. We do have a tornado watch in effect for all of East Central Florida until 9 o'clock tonight. A tornado watch simply means that the conditions are ripe, if you will, for tornado development, as we saw in Volusia County. And again, that tornado warning has now been dropped. You can let us know where you are and what you are seeing in the WDBO app. Just use the open mic.
Hey, Joe, I just want to let you know I'm at Kirkman and Old Winter Garden. It's just now starting to rain, and I see lightning off in the distance. I'm hoping I make it home to Apopka before it gets bad.
I am hoping that you do as well. But if you're heading towards Apopka at this hour, you're going to be driving into the thicker stuff as we speak. And it is, I wish it was a narrow band of showers that's going to pass in just a few minutes. It's a little bit wider band. Fortunately, as the band of showers widens, the intensity of it decreases as the energy spreads out wider rather than being in a narrow band like a laser. It spreads out wider, and in doing so, it decreases in its intensity. Regrettably, Down a little further south towards Lakeland, into Zephyr Hills, and then up towards the Epcot area and Mascot. We are seeing a very narrow band of heavy showers and storms there, which I would imagine that's going to affect the severe thunderstorm warning that we already have in effect in West Orange County and in parts of Lake County at this hour. We turn to Channel 9 Eyewitness News staff meteorologists, Chief Meteorologist Tom Terry and Meteorologist George Waldenberger for their live coverage.
So there is a Claremont area. So we've got some heavy rain. We're coming in along Highway 50. So they're heading eastward into the storm that's in Lake County on the right-hand side of your screen. Bumper to bumper traffic, of course, at this time of the day. But George, weather alert day for a reason. We've been tracking this line of severe thunderstorms. A quick reset here as we have there's our camera looking back toward the west right now, and a tornado warning again for mainly Flagler County, as far as we can tell right now.
Yeah, there's northwestern Volusia County. That was set to expire at 5:15. The main part of the storm has moved out of Volusia County. So Flagler County underneath the tornado warning, basically anywhere between Bunnell, Palm Coast, Beverly Beach, Flagler Beach, and on the west side of Bunnell, where we had a report from a train spotter of a funnel cloud. All of those areas under a tornado warning. So we want you to take cover, stay away from windows, let the storms pass. Give them about 10 to 15 minutes.
Ground stop till 6:15 at OIA, because they are under an airport alert, I'm sure, in advance of very strong and gusty winds. There is the lines right there, and we've got lots of red on there. We got some canceled, delayed. You can actually see the colors change right there. So if you're heading toward the airport, you're going to have to slow your heels, because that's what we have. A new tornado warning that just came in here, George. Let's see, is that out of
tornado warning
for Volusia? Oh, expires. That's good. Expires, the one in Volusia. So that was the one over the Lake George area.
Yeah, this is the same warning, essentially. It's just two different forecast offices. So they'll expire Volusia. Volusia will not be in a tornado warning as of 5:15. So just one, just like you were saying. It's Flagler County. Their storm has about 10 to 15 minutes to clear Bunnell, Palm Coast, Flagler Beach, Beverly Beach, until it will move offshore, and then hopefully that tornado warning will expire as well. Set to expire at around 5:30, but analyzing the radar, I can see that the center of rotation, and again, we did have a report of at least a funnel cloud with this, on the west side of Bunnell, Black Point, DuPont, all of these areas very close to the most dangerous part of this storm, and again, headed toward I-95 as we speak. So I will change sources here briefly, and we can see the warning right there. And you can see Bunnell, Beverly Beach, Flagler Beach, Palm Coast, and I-95 there, all under the tornado warning at this point. Zooming in, you can see Central Avenue here, Belterre Parkway, and Colbert Lane, Beverly Beach, Island Estates Parkway, Old King Road, I-95 between Palm Coast, all the way down to the county line with Volusia County, where Mound Grove is, Corona, and Favoretta, and County Road 304, all under the tornado warning. Again, give it 10, 15 minutes, and this rotating part of the thunderstorm will move offshore, but still seeing enough rotation using the radar out of Jacksonville, and that's enough for the potential for a tornado to basically develop at a moment's notice. So this is our one tornado warning. It's Flagler County. And then we have a severe thunderstorm warning. I will change over to reflectivity, kind of our traditional mode that you can.
Just a quick update here, George. Thank you for that. As you watch that storm, I want to give you an idea where the wind is. I mean, minute by minute. That's our live Doppler radar. It gives us this update. You can see that fine line in the sand. We've got red and we've got green, but they're kind of lined up. They're not like wrapped around each other. So this is where the strongest severe thunderstorm wind gusts are moving right now. And if you're listening to us on a radio partner 580 WDBO, it is right through the Claremont area. Wind gusts likely over 50 miles per hour with this particular storm. I'll pixel query a couple of these as we slide on through. There's 47. I got to hit the right pixel query point. But yeah, so right around somewhere between 25 and about 50 miles an hour, depending on whether you're in that line of storm. But it's now moving toward the Apopka area right now, the bright green. So that's going to be working its way this direction. And you can see the storm approaching the Apopka area past Claremont. We do have some lightning in through here. So that's the severe thunderstorm winds itself, George, coming into parts of central and western parts of Orange County. I'm going to switch back over to your monitor right now because you're watching this storm.
We're getting a new warning that is coming in right now as we speak. This is going to be a severe thunderstorm warning for Lake, Orange, Osceola, Seminole, and Volusia counties until 6 o'clock. I don't know that I've ever seen a warning cover so much territory before. Severe thunderstorm warning issued for Lake, Orange, Osceola, Seminole, and Volusia counties until 6 o'clock due to 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. That is very impressive. That this gives you an idea, though, really of how big this storm system is. That it is such a sprawling system right now. Let's listen in again with Tom Terry.
And working from Cocoa Beach, Melbourne, Palm Bay, and after around 8:30, everything is long gone. A little bit of shower activity left over, but overall everything else is good. But one of the larger severe thunderstorm warnings that I've tracked here, George, goes all the way from Kissimmee all the way to Ormond Beach. That is impressive.
You cast a wide net. When you have a lot of areas of potential wind damage, you draw a big severe thunderstorm warning to encompass all of that potentially damaging wind. So between Daytona Beach, Deltona, DeLand, Orlando, Sanford, Kissimmee, Celebration areas just north of Point Siena, all under the latest severe thunderstorm warning. This is through 6 o'clock. So the next 40 minutes or so, we still have the ongoing tornado warning for Flagler County until 5:30, which is 8 minutes from now. If you're in Lake County, yes, you are under a severe thunderstorm warning. This in Lake County.
You're listening to our live team coverage here, our Storm Center activation. The chimes that you hear on the radio, if you're new to Orlando, maybe you're new to WDBO, the chimes you're hearing on the radio indicate that severe weather is in our area. And as Tom Terry noted, and I'm somewhat gratified that he had the same observation I had, and that is I don't think I have ever seen a severe thunderstorm warning that has covered so much territory. Usually, and particularly these days, the National Weather Service has been hyper localized when it comes to these warnings. As an example, our earlier warning said that only West Orange County was in the warning zone. Now they've included all of Orange County, all of Volusia County, all of Seminole, all of Osceola, and all of Lake County are all included in this severe thunderstorm warning. This is a terrible time to be outdoors. If you are outdoors, I feel for you. This is not something that is regrettably going to pass real quickly. It's going to take a little while because there's a whole lot of storm behind this as well. And then behind that, we're going to have strong gusty winds overnight into much cooler temperatures tomorrow morning, and then strong winds even to start out our day tomorrow. As we check our drive, I know that it's always complicated, Paul Cross, when we have this kind of severe storms. It can sometimes complicate that drive as well.
It's a mess. Back to you, Joe. No, that's about as wide of a casting of a net you can do, isn't it? We're going to just see these storms affect the roadways, no doubt about it. One of the biggest things right now is I'm looking at solid slowdowns on both sides of the turnpike from Colonial into Lake County to US 27. So it's very wet. I'm trying to find and look for as many cameras as I can around the area to give you an accurate description of which roadways are getting pelted and which are just slow because it's an afternoon commute. But that roadway right there is really getting hammered wet, and it's also, of course, very stacked up on both sides. We also have a broken down semi. This is still blocking 3 right lanes, I-4 eastbound, just before Princeton. So that has traffic really jammed up starting about OBT. And then now we have a wreck on I-4 westbound, the ramp to US 27, just after Champions Gate. That ramp is completely shut down because of a crash there. We're seeing a little bit of precipitation down that far south, but that ramp being closed, if you usually take US 27 from I-4 westbound, you need to get off at Champions Gate instead. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck on I-4 quite a few miles down to 557 in Polk County. So a lot of things going on, a lot of moving parts. Just be careful. We'll keep you updated. This report sponsored by InvisibleFence.com. Strong enough for a Mastiff, gentle enough for a Chihuahua. Invisible Fence brand is more than a fence, with hands-on training and exclusive solutions to give your pet more room to run. Learn more at InvisibleFence.com. From the WDBO Traffic Center, I'm Paul Cross.
And Paul, we do have breaking news that is non-weather related. Two items to share with you. One, there appears to be an attempted coup taking place in Ecuador right now, as armed gunmen have taken over a television station there. The military has arrived in Ecuador to stop what they're describing as a cartel civil war or coup attempt. That happening in Ecuador. And additional breaking news, it appears that the Securities and Exchange Commission's Twitter account has been hacked, and somebody was tweeting about Bitcoin, and it has had an effect on the markets. We'll continue to monitor both of those stories for you and bring you the latest as we continue our live team coverage. There is a full ground stop at Orlando International Airport until 6:15 p.m. We'll continue our Storm Center team coverage straight ahead here on WDBO.
A new year comes with new hope, new optimism.
Michael Gray needs a rim shot.
Activated. Orlando's severe weather coverage starts now.
I'm Joe Kelley in the WDBO Storm Center, and I'm joined by Laura Lee, Paul Cross, Greg Rhodes, Josh McCarthy, our whole team on duty to help keep you and your family safe here tonight as we've activated our Storm Center. If you're new to WDBO or new to Orlando, the chimes that you hear, the doorbell, if you will, sound on the radio, that is a subtle way of alerting our listeners that there is severe weather in the area. And in this case, we're going to have to go back and check the record books on this. This may be the broadest swath of severe weather that has been declared in a very, very long time. The National Weather Service issues a severe thunderstorm warning for all of Seminole County, for central Lake County, for all of Orange County, all of Volusia County, northwestern Osceola County until 6 p.m. At 5:21 p.m., about 11 minutes ago, severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from near Pearson to Zellwood to 12 miles west to Four Corners. The storm system itself is moving at 70 miles an hour. Imagine you're on the turnpike and doing 70 miles an hour. That's how fast this storm is moving. Now, the wind gusts are up to 60 miles an hour. Expect damage to rooftops, sidings, and trees. Locations that are expected to be impacted include Orlando, Deltona, Daytona Beach, Kissimmee, and Port Orange. Laura Lee is checking our power outages, and I know that up in the Panhandle area, where they did have confirmed tornadoes, as many as 4, there are hundreds of thousands without power up in the Panhandle. How are we doing here in the Orlando area?
Yeah, Joe, the Panhandle's bad. The Panhandle has 4,000, 6,000 without power in any given county. Down here, we're pretty lucky. Osceola is only tracking 1 out without power. Orange County has 3. The highest I'm seeing is Volusia County is tracking 97 homes without power. Seminole has 70, Lake 43, Polk 31. So actually, we're doing fairly well. There's no more than 50 in the Central Florida area that's lost power. So we're hanging on here still.
That is good to hear. If you have travel plans, if you're heading out towards the airport, just be mindful that there is a full stop ground stop at Orlando International Airport at this hour due to the strong gusty winds that we're experiencing. WDBO's Paul Cross is checking our drive and checking our roads here. Paul, can you give us an update as to how the drive is shaping up for us?
Well, so far, just like I mentioned earlier, Joe, that turnpike seems to be really messed up, but getting a little bit better, believe it or not. I think the main part of that rain band has gone by there, but I'm still seeing lots of traffic on both sides of the turnpike between Colonial and US 27 in Lake County. As far as I-4 westbound getting to US 27, that ramp was shut down, causing a lot of cars to continue all the way down into Polk County. This one now, they just opened up the ramp. So the ramp is good there. Now you can get off on US 27. And again, between Lake County and Colonial, you have a lot of traffic there on the turnpike. We'll get a full update for you in just a few minutes.
All right, you can join our team and hit us up in the open mic. Let us know where you are and what you're experiencing.
Hey, Joe, Claremont, Florida. It's raining cats, dogs, and tree branches.
Tree branches. Yeah, we've got about 100% chance of tree branches falling.
In Winter Garden, it's a 429 and 535. There's very light sprinkles. Wind is maybe 10 miles an hour right here. The upper level clouds seem to be moving, but not much going on here right now.
You know, I'm looking at that on the WDBO interactive radar right now, and he left that open mic 4 minutes ago. I'd be willing to bet that the conditions in that exact location have changed, as the radar indicates now that it does appear to be raining quite heavily in that area. We turn once again to our broadcast partners, Channel 9 Eyewitness News, Chief Meteorologist Tom Terry, and Meteorologist George Waldenberger.
Okay, so we're going to do a quick reset here, let the directors know we're still keeping an eye on some storms. The storms in Flagler have moved out. We're keeping an eye on northern sections of Volusia County right now. No warning on that. Also, storms coming in across West Orlando are mainly strong straight line wind gusts. So we're going to do some quick research back here. We'll be back with you again in just a few minutes, Greg.
All right. And, you guys have touched on this. This storm is so big, at one point, 1,000 miles across, already impacting parts of Florida in a major way. Take a look at some of this video. Deputies in the...
Yeah, and you can see some of this imagery in the WDBO app. What Greg Wormuth is about to show is some of the video from the storm damage up in the Panhandle, most specifically in Panama City Beach. Panama City Beach had what is believed to be 4 confirmed tornadoes touch down, and the damage there is indescribable. As there are buildings that are completely leveled. The marina there appears to have been completely destroyed. There are boats in places where you shouldn't see boats, as in the middle of the roads. There are boats upside down, some very large boats that people would consider yachts that are no longer in the water. They have been they were blown out of the water. Many are upside down in the water. And there are, which is really an odd sight for tornadoes, and there are a couple of buildings that I'm estimating to be 4-story or 5-story buildings. There's a building code change between 4 stories and 5 stories. In a 4-story building, you can build out of wood. If you go to 5 stories, most construction code requires metal. So wood is cheaper than metal, at least usually it is. And so generally when you see apartment buildings, they're no more than 4 stories tall, because that's how they can get away with building them out of wood. But there are a couple of buildings that look like they're 4-story buildings in Panama City Beach that truly look as if they have just fallen over like a toppled tree, which is, typically not what you see in a tornado. In fact, it is believed that it might have been straight line winds that caused that problem and not the tornadoes. The tornadoes, as you well know, go in a circular path, straight line winds, quite the opposite. But in Panama City, or just outside of Panama City Beach, they did clock a straight line wind at a absolutely remarkable 106 miles per hour. That may be a meteorological record for the Panhandle to have a straight line wind at that speed. And that may have been responsible for toppling a couple of those 4-story apartment buildings. 844-580-WDBO. If you want to call in, if you want to report what you're seeing, you're welcome to join us at 844-580-WDBO. You can use the open mic in the WDBO app. We are continuing to monitor here our Storm Center team coverage. We've got 20 minutes remaining in our severe thunderstorm warning. If you're just joining us, we have an active severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 6 p.m. Areas that are likely to be impacted next include Orlando, Deltona, Daytona Beach, Kissimmee, and Port Orange. This storm system is moving at 70 miles an hour, which is absolutely remarkable how fast this storm system is moving. The wind gusts are in excess of 60 miles an hour. If you left the patio furniture outside, odds are good you no longer have patio furniture. If today was garbage day in your community, good luck finding your garbage can. It is going to be the next county over if today was garbage day in your community. It's always regrettable when it's garbage day in your community when severe storms hit. We're watching a very, very stout band of showers that extends from Polk City up to Citrus Ridge, through the Magic Kingdom, out towards Dr. Phillips, Lake Butler, Gotha, Ocoee, into Lockhart, Altamont Springs, up to Lake Mary, Sanford, and Deltona. And then it decreases in intensity as it gets closer to the Atlantic coastline. As it makes its way towards the Palm Coast, it decreases in intensity. The highest level of intensity right now is truly right around the Magic Kingdom, from Polk City up to Oakland, which, if you draw a line between Polk City and Oakland, it goes right through Magic Kingdom. And I would imagine that they have battened down the hatches out there at the most magical place on earth this afternoon to keep the guests and the staff, for the cast members, safe out there for the duration of this storm. I feel for people who have saved thousands and thousands of dollars and traveled from thousands of miles away and happened to show up today out at the theme parks because it is just terrible weather today. And even after the storm passes, it is going to be very, very windy tonight. And it is going to be very windy when we wake up again tomorrow morning. Tom Terry is stepping up now. Let's take a listen.
This is a line of severe thunderstorms that is approaching I-4, if not on top of I-4 right now. And rain just now moving into Metro Orlando. Also, by the way, that's going to be the eastbound side of I-4, which is bumper to bumper in downtown, right along that heavy line of storms. We don't have any tornado warnings right now. We've had several so far today. This is a line of severe thunderstorm warnings that go all the way through Metro Orlando, Winter Haven, approaching Kissimmee, St. Cloud, Celebration, and points east, and lots of lightning along with this. This is a very heavy storm near Dr. Phillips, Celebration, coming through the Pine Hills area, eventually downtown Orlando. And I'm tracking all this for you. I'll have much more coming up right after the break.
All right, Tom.
We're also following breaking news out of Ecuador as a cartel evidently is attempting a coup there. They have begun executing hostages in Ecuador. They've taken over a television station there and are executing hostages. This as there's additional breaking news that a Securities and Exchange Commission Twitter account, at least a Twitter account that is believed to be for the Securities and Exchange Commission, has erroneously tweeted out information about Bitcoin, which has caused some fluctuations on the markets. And we'll continue to keep an eye on both of those stories for you. We have a full ground stop out at Orlando International Airport until 6:15 p.m. That's about another 30 minutes or so. You're listening to a special edition of the Joe Kelley Show, our Storm Center team coverage here on WDBO. As we check that drive.
Munz and Munz WDBO Traffic Center. Auto accident? Choose Bogan Munz and Munz.
See, I can't do it. I'm like Pavlov's dog. I have to wait for that sounder there, Joe. And there it is. So right now we have a broken down vehicle, I-4 eastbound before Princeton. 2 right lanes are closed now. They've opened up now, 3 on the left, but 2 on the right still shut down. That's causing that traffic that Tom Terry just mentioned right there on the edge of the moisture. We do have the eastbound side of I-4 really heavy from Orange Blossom Trail all the way up through downtown to Princeton. And now the 429 between Western Way and, say, South Apopka. So that covers Horizon West and also at the junction with the Turnpike and up into Paradise Heights. All of that area there on the 429, both sides, northbound, southbound, very heavy and getting really dumped on right now. This report sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Stores provide innovative products and services for small business, remote workers and learners, even teachers and parents. Explore more at your local Staples store. From the WDBO Traffic Center, I'm Paul Cross.
This is WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk.
What's funny on mine is I keep seeing the numbers jump around. So, Marie, when you were lost, I saw 2 people under the Joe Kelley Show watching, and I saw like 15 people under WDBO watching. And now I see 11 people under WDBO watching, but 3 under Joe Kelley watching. That's my alarm. So, I don't know if people are bouncing around the rooms. I don't know what's going on. Hi, Cindy. Just starting to rain in Dr. Phillips. Well, hopefully not for long. Like Joe said, this is a super fast storm. The thunderstorm warning for Lake County, only Lake Orange, Osceola, Seminole, Volusia, only go until 6. So for another 15 minutes, unless they decide to extend it, which they could. That's happened before. It was supposed to end at 5:30, and then they pushed it to 6. So, but if this thing's as fast as they say it is, it should be done by 6. But then it moves over into the east counties. So OIA, UCF, buckle up. This makes you miss Orlando, Mark? That's funny. You normal people would be like, "Oh no, bad storms. Yay, I'm not there." But you're like, "I can't wait." Oh, really, Rachel? I will not trade you the snow. If it's like a nice flurry snow, I get it. I definitely see how you wouldn't trade. When it's just like a beautiful little flurry of snow, that's nice. But when it's like the blizzard that takes your breath away, I hate that stuff.
Yeah, if it's a Hallmark Channel type of snow, then then you're okay. But when you get into Jim Cantori, no, that's not what you're.
Orlando severe weather coverage starts now.
I'm Joe Kelley in the WDBO Storm Center. We are fully staffed up. Our Storm Center is activated because of a severe thunderstorm warning that remains in effect for another 11 minutes. It is not hard to imagine that this is going to be extended beyond that. In fact, y'all, we just got a tornado warning that just popped up right as I went on the air. We need to push on this, Greg. The National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning for southwestern Orange County until 6:15 p.m. At 5:47 p.m., that's 90 seconds ago, this just happened. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over SeaWorld or near Oak Ridge, moving east at 40 miles an hour. This is a radar-indicated rotation. Flying debris will be dangerous.
Tornado warning for the following county: Orange, Florida. The National Weather Service in Melbourne has issued a tornado warning for southwestern Orange County in east central Florida until 6:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. At 5:47 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over SeaWorld or near Oak Ridge, moving east at 40 miles per hour. Hazard: tornado. Source: radar indicated rotation. Impact: flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. This dangerous storm will be near Orlando International Airport, and Conway around 5:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Azalea Park, Lake Hart, and Lake Nona around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Other locations impacted by this tornadic thunderstorm include Meadow Woods. Take cover now. Move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If you are outdoors, in a mobile home, or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris.
National Weather Service. Storm Center coverage has been activated. Orlando severe weather coverage starts now.
I'm Joe Kelley in the WDBO Storm Center, and as I was telling you about the tornado warning, you heard the official announcement there from the National Weather Service. We have a tornado warning that is right in the heart of the tourist district. It's down by the attractions. A tornado warning is in effect until 6:15 p.m. We turn to our chief meteorologist, Tom Terry, along with meteorologist George Waldenberger on Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Tornado warning shown by the red polygon here. This is until 6:15, and this is because the potential for a tornado between Dr. Phillips, Disney area, Windermere area, and this will track through Orlando all the way down toward Lake Nona over the next half hour or so. So we have about 25 minutes to 30 minutes under a tornado warning for Orlando down toward Lake Nona, Osceola County. This is north of Kissimmee, so this part of the thunderstorm will track north of Kissimmee. I'm going to change it so to give you kind of perspective of what's going on here. This is the same line we've been tracking right here between Deltona, Sanford, Orlando, Kissimmee, Polk County, and then within it we have a little nugget here, possible rotation.
Here we go.
And Tom, you're changing into rotation so we can look. There we go. Okay,
So,
SeaWorld, Dr. Phillips.
Yeah, so this area right here is kind of what's starting to show up. And this may or may not actually produce a tornado, but we have a little bit more of a signature. And of course, we're in a very heavily populated area. So Weather Service issuing this tornado warning is going to be moving right through the 429. Here's I-4, 429 over here to the east. So we're on the east side of the 429 now. Dr. Phillips, the Oak Ridge area through SeaWorld. This is moving rapidly through South Orlando. We'll keep an eye too, George, this kind of northern area here, a little bit of a wind discontinuity here approaching the Winter Park area, but you're not under the warning. It's going to be this storm cell moving through the Pine Castle area, Oak Ridge, south side of Metro Orlando, and moving rapidly east at about 55 miles per hour. So let me go ahead and I'll back it up just a little bit here, and we'll be able to see. This is kind of how we find these as you kind of back it up over time. And you can see some of the brighter red. If you're joining us now on 580 WDBO, we do have some broad rotation, if nothing else, George, right through the SeaWorld area and right through Dr. Phillips.
Right over I-4, right at rush hour here. Not great timing. So again, anywhere on the I-4 corridor through Orlando all the way down to Celebration, not the time to get on the roadways. We have a tornado warning south of downtown Orlando. That rotation is moving right over I-4 right now. So again, stay off of I-4 in Orlando at this point until this storm can pass. And this is headed over toward the Meadowwoods area, Conwood, Edgewood, Pine Castle, and Orlando International Airport.
Yeah, a little bit of a kink here in the line of wind right over Universal Boulevard. So we're keeping an eye on the Universal Orlando. Again, they just get inside away from windows. We're going to get through this. It's moving very, very, very quickly, and nothing that really stands out as a bullseye tornado warning, but this is precautionary, I think, from the Weather Service in Melbourne. And I want to put on the shear rate on here so we can kind of see.
Yep, you can see it there.
Yeah, so
this is some of the highest shear we've seen today right here.
That's the wind shear, the difference in the wind speeds and direction. So we just subtracted everything else and said, just show us where it might be spinning. And we have this little pocket here that's approaching the Oak Ridge area with lightning. Anytime we have lightning that's co-located with the wind shear, that can usually mean a little bit of an updraft. And the weather squad saying, noticed a notch developing on the leading edge between I-4 and the beach line, particularly on the Weather Service radar. So that's kind of what we just showed you. There's a little bit of a notch. That kind of show that we could have. I'm going to switch over to you, George.
Okay.
A little blue spot right there, right over Dr. Phillips. So that's where we have at least a brief funnel cloud or a brief tornado is possible moving through the Dr. Phillips area right over I-4. So we're in the I-Drive area, Universal Orlando,
SeaWorld, Tangelo Park, over towards Sky Lake here, eventually Orlando International Airport. So that's our tornado warning through 6:15. It includes the southern half of Orlando all the way down to the county line. Our latest update, actually, we have a shear update here. And again, right over I-Drive, Tom, Tangelo Park here, I-4 approaching the turnpike. So where I-4 intersects with the turnpike, that area right there, heavily trafficked at this time.
Move that up a little bit.
Yes.
Thank you. So right in there. Right in there. So that's kind of where we have a little bit of rotation. It's going to be north of the beach line and right over the Oak Ridge area. So here is the I-4 junction with the turnpikes. We're down around Conway, so we're down in toward, first of all, where's our live camera? Okay, so we have our live cam right there. thankfully. And we also have our live and drive, which I think is in the heavy rain over in Lake County, Claremont area. I'm not exactly sure where they're at. But right now, we also have a little bit of rotation here, George, that's
College
showing
Park.
up in the College Park area. So we're still keeping a watchful eye on all of these particular storms as they continue to form. I'm checking the Weather Service chat right now, see what else updates they've got here.
All right. And I'm going to change this over to reflect to velocity so we can get a look at what we're seeing here. Okay,
so that's TDWR. Okay, back it out.
Yep. Okay, so we're analyzing the velocity here. Yeah, seeing maybe a little broad rotation.
Yeah, go and zoom out.
I'm gonna zoom out.
There. Thank you, sir. Yeah, so yeah, lots of kind of a straight edge right through there, but we did have a little bit of a kink along this, especially right over there. So we're keeping an eye on perhaps a brief funnel cloud out of this is what it looks like to me. There's a live view. It is raining heavily in downtown Orlando. As on the right-hand side, you can see that's the Truist building or the 55 West there. Very, very heavy rain and some wind gusts over 50 miles per hour reported in downtown Orlando, and still keeping a close tab on some pretty squally winds and rain that are moving in across central Orange County right now. A tornado warning in effect for central and southern sections of Orange County, including downtown Orlando. You will not be able to see this unless you happen to see it hit a transformer, but it doesn't really stand out as an organized rotation at this moment, but we're still watching this line in the sand, if you will. That's where we have the strongest winds moving right through the I-4 corridor and just on the east side. So very strong winds, all blowing in this general direction. So we've got the winds coming through Winter Park, Lake Nona. Go ahead and just take your tornado precautions. Again, we have the Orlando Magic about ready to take the court here in just a little bit over an hour. And there's Highway 50 and Orange Blossom Trail with some very heavy rain as we take an eye to the radar. Let me go ahead and switch over. Go ahead and put back reflectivity.
Sure.
We'll show you the rain mode out of this particular storm. If you're just joining us right now, tornado warning, southern sections of Orange County. We've been watching a little bit of spin along the leading edge, nothing that jumps out as too much, but we're still watching it very, very closely here because it doesn't take much to get this system to move on through. We're also keeping an eye on the Kissimmee area as well. Weather Service just issued a new severe thunderstorm warning for Orange, Osceola, Seminole, Volusia, so they've kind of just extended it just a little bit. I want to keep an eye on that Kissimmee St. Cloud area as well. We've got some pretty good wind coming in just west of Kissimmee. I'm going to switch over to this box, and this is the terminal Doppler radar near the Weather Service, which is over here south of the airport, and there is quite a bit of wind kind of punching in near the Kissimmee area, so right past the municipal airport, and this is a very busy area. There's 192 coming in toward downtown Kissimmee proper. So could see some gusty winds over 50 miles per hour in that area just now moving into downtown Kissimmee. That bright green coming through the Town Center Boulevard. That's 527. So we're in the Flamingo South Chase area, South Orange County. Very strong gusty winds. Could pick up a funnel cloud out of any of this. Again, tornado warning is in effect, but we're still kind of, I think it's a more of a precautionary warning at this point, but still very strong and gusty winds working its way through Belle Isle, the Edgewood area, Conway, where the gray, green, and red are kind of lined up there. That's a strong, gusty wind that is quickly moving east, and we can hear the heavy rain on the roof here at WFTV Studios. Here's a time lapse. You can see that wind just pouring in, George, across western sections of Orange County. Now, you've been interrogating these storms over here on my shoulder. Anything that stands out to you?
And I'm actually texting with Brian Shields, and we're on a strong punch of wind on the south side of downtown. There's really strong wind is pushing right over downtown at this point, and it's a squall line right here, some straight line winds and some embedded rotation. And on the north side of Winter Park, noticing a little bit of rotation on the backside of this as well. So Maitland, Winter Park, Goldenrod, we're watching you. This is north of the tornado warned area, but stay inside, let the storms pass, stay away from the windows. If you're in Eatonville, if you're in on the south side of Altamont Springs, if you're over toward Goldenrod, again, this storm has the potential for some wind damage, and we're also anticipating power outages. But zooming south, the tornado warning.
So real quick update. Tornado warning continues for Orlando area. Circulation has weakened some. That's what we've been telling you. Could re-strengthen in another area rotation moving northwest or moving northward into the tornado warning box southeast of SeaWorld. So it's going to be, I think, this area down south here, George, that Meadowwoods area. That's where we kind of had that little punch of wind we were talking about. That could also produce some damaging winds coming into the Hunters Creek, the Kissimmee area, and in toward Lake Nona. So our radio partner is 580 WDBO. Thank you for simulcasting, and we have been tracking this for you on the radio as well as at home. And we're still seeing very gusty winds right on the Florida Turnpike, north side of downtown Kissimmee. St. Cloud, you're coming up next. The eastern side, this is right over the International Airport too, by the way. And I show you the wind on this because we're watching this like a hawk. Every time we scan around, we're looking for anything that looks discontinuous where we could be producing a brief funnel cloud, if nothing else. So still a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for a large area of central Florida. I'm going to switch over and show you this. So you should get a quick reset here. We still have severe thunderstorm conditions from Daytona Beach, approaching New Smyrna, coming down through Deltona, into Sanford right now, and a little bit of additional shear in the storms that are south of Orlando. We don't have any indication of a tornado on the ground right now. This is kind of like radar indicated and kind of a maybe at this point, but we're still being very cautious because these storms did produce tornadoes earlier when they came on shore, George, in Pasco County, if I believe.
And you were talking about shear, so we can change this over, Tom, to weather 5, and just analyzing the shear product where we can pull everything out, but the direction of the winds where they're changing. And 3 areas where we're watching: Maitland, Winter Park. Tom, you and I pointed this out. Right. This is north of the tornado warned area, but treat this like a tornado warning as well. So if Winter Park, Maitland, Altamont Springs, Eatonville area, moving over in the direction of Oviedo, stay inside, stay away from windows, let the storms pass, go to the safe spot of your house. Then on the south side of Orlando, there's another little notch of rotation. Tom's circling that. So over the Lake Cherokee area and just to the south of that. And then as you go on the other side of Clear Lake, so about to move over Clear Lake, Richmond Heights and Richmond Estates and Holden Heights, all in this area. This is I-4 as you drive between downtown over toward the Mall at Millennia. That area showing some signs of rotation. And then farther south, Tom, this is the area you pointed out along the Osceola County line here. Some of the strongest indication of wind shear here, potential rotation on the south side of Hunters Creek. And this will be clipping the north side of Kissimmee as well. So we're getting alerts. We're chatting with Brian Shields.
Brian's watching this at home as well. So we got all our meteorologists, whether you're on duty or not, when stuff happens like this, everyone's watching wherever you are. And I do want to go ahead and show you, this is kind of something that we've been watching here, George. This is going to be in the Winter Park area, Union Park, Azalea Park, east of Orlando. So we still have some kind of pockets where we have the brighter red, and we kind of go into a little bit of a gray and a little bit of green. So that's going to be some wind shear difference in winds. And sometimes out of this, we can come up with a brief funnel cloud, or you can actually see it kind of move through the Maitland, Eatonville area. We were talking about that earlier, and now moving through Azalea Park and Union Park. So that's this whole area. There's one right there, another one right there, and another one down there. So all 3 of these we're keeping very close tabs on. In the Lake Nona area, won't draw it. But anyway, you get the idea. So storms now moving from downtown Orlando, moving toward the east. That's our live camera right now, as I can watch it myself here, over downtown Orlando on the eastern side. So still some heavy rain. The tornado threat for the downtown part of Orlando appears to be over. It's moving on the east side now, but Baldwin Park, Winter Park, University of Central Florida, even the Winter Springs area, George, there's still a lot of kind of squalliness along this whole line that we're going to be watching as the whole area moves east at 55 miles per hour. But still have the tornado warning in effect here for about another, when is that till? Like
6:15, the next 13 minutes. And the main line, which in addition to potential brief weak tornadoes, the
tornado warning for the following county: Volusia, Florida. The National Weather Service in Melbourne has issued a tornado warning for East Central Volusia County in East Central Florida until 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. At 6:03 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Port Orange, moving northeast at 55 miles per hour. Hazard, tornado. Source, radar indicated rotation. Impact, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. This tornadic thunderstorm will remain over mainly rural areas of east central Volusia County, including the following locations: Wilbur by the Sea. Take cover now. Move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If you are outdoors, in a mobile home, or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris.
WDBO.
With the resources of Severe Weather Center 9 and the National Weather Service, Storm Center coverage has been activated. Orlando's severe weather coverage starts now.
This is the one time we preempt all of our commercials and all of our programming and all of our everything. We have not one, but two active tornado warnings in our listening area right now. A tornado warning means that either a tornado has been spotted with someone's eyes or a tornado has been spotted on a radar. We go now to our chief meteorologist, Tom Terry, along with meteorologist George Waldenberger on Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
The Weather Service right now.
Yeah, this is for 55 mile per hour moving storm near Port Orange right now. So this will be about to move offshore. This will be a quick warning for Volusia County. Brand new tornado warning. Now we have two tornado warnings. Tom, zooming into the most recent, newest one. There it is. Port Orange, Harbor Oaks, South Daytona, all the way down toward Ponce Inlet. Tom, this will move offshore quickly, but this has the potential for a tornado, and it's moving east.
Yeah,
northeast at 55 miles per hour.
Weather, the radar, we just kind of changed our scan strategies, and you can see a little bit of an area near Ponce Inlet that's now offshore, and then they extended out, and now we've got this little area that's going to be just now moving in along the coast as well. So we're keeping an eye on this whole area from just west of New Smyrna Beach. You're also keeping an eye out for that little cell along the coast here of Volusia County. Those storms are now moving offshore. Very pretty area. You've been over there in a boat. It's beautiful, but those storms are now moving offshore. That could be a water spout now off the coast of Ponce Inlet. And these storms continue to move rapidly east-northeast at 55 miles per hour. So that storm will not last very long here across the Orange County area. And what do you have for Orange County?
We've been changing the cameras so we can take live cameras both from downtown looking at the storms. Remember, the storms have already cleared downtown, but we have a tornado warning that continues for Orlando, downtown over toward Azalea Park, south toward Conway, the International Airport, Belle Isle, over toward Lake Nona. This is where the heaviest part of the storm is at this point. And
track this out here, George.
All right, good. Thank you. Yeah, it's moving quickly to the east. We have a late update as of 6:04 to this tornado warning, and it will continue as the storm passes through Conway, Azalea Park around 6:08 to 6:10 p.m. So those are communities we already listed. Again, if you're in these areas, stay inside, away from windows until the storm passes. Quick moving storm, Tom. 55 miles per hour. Bithlow, 10 minutes away. Christmas, around 15 to 20 minutes away. And identifying some of the wind shear with this. And we're seeing a good amount of wind shear on the east side of Orlando. So
this Lake Nona area.
Lake Nona, and also, as we were looking at earlier, the Azalea Park area. So I will...
and UCF campus. Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, thank you. There's actually two rotation here that I'm looking... Can I analyze the shear briefly? Okay, so... okay, there you go. All right. So again, taking all the radar off, just focusing on where the radar is indicating changing winds or possible rotation. Baldwin Park, the south side here.
Tornado warning for the following counties in Florida: Brevard, Orange, Seminole, and Volusia. The National Weather Service in Melbourne has issued a tornado warning for Seminole County in east central Florida, northwestern Brevard County in east central Florida, southeastern Orange County in east central Florida, southeastern Volusia County in east central Florida, until 6:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. At 6:07 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Oviedo, moving northeast at 75 miles per hour. Hazard, tornado. Source, radar indicated rotation. Impact, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. This dangerous storm will be near Oviedo, Winter Springs, and Bithlo around 6:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Scottsmore and Edmonds around 6:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hall over Canal around 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Other locations impacted by this tornadic thunderstorm include Turnbull. Take cover now. Move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If you are outdoors, in a mobile home, or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris.
WDBO.
With the resources of Severe Weather Center 9 and the National Weather Service. Storm Center coverage has been activated. Orlando's severe weather coverage starts now.
If you are just now joining us here on our Storm Center team coverage, I'm Joe Kelley, along with Laura Lee, Paul Cross on traffic, Greg Rhodes, and Josh McCarthy in our studio. And we have quite an extraordinary weather event tonight. I don't like when people call it a weather event because it sounds like something you should sell tickets to. But this is the kind of event that, honestly, we should sell tickets to. This is very, very rare. I don't know that I've ever seen this before. We have first a massive, massive geographically covering severe thunderstorm warning, and that is in effect from now until 32 minutes, so till 6:45. So that's in effect till 6:45. And then we have not one, two, but three separate tornado warnings that are in effect right now. We go to our chief meteorologist, Tom Terry, and Channel 9 Eyewitness News meteorologist, George Waldenberger on Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
We're right there at the airport. So right on top of OIA, wind gusts 51 knots, so about 55, 57 miles an hour. That fuchsia color right there, very, very heavy rain, maybe some small hail on this. The Weather Service saying there are 3 individual couplets on the western portion of the tornado warning box that we were just highlighting a moment ago that continue to pull stronger and then they weaken. So we'll continue to monitor the strength of these storms. If you're joining us on our radio partner 580 WDBO, downtown Orlando, we are still seeing the moderate rainfall, some lightning, heaviest weather. Where's our storm chaser? On a wet road somewhere? Okay. Lake County, okay, they're coming into from the west. We want to keep them safe. That's the Conway area, very heavy wind and rain, and could be producing, George, some brief rotation at any time out of this storm cluster as it moves rapidly east at 55 miles an hour. Watching UCF campus here over toward the Oviedo. I'm going to widen this out for you, George, so you can give an update there.
Yeah, I just want to give you an overview at this point. The squall line, which has been approaching Orlando for the last few hours, has now hit Orlando, and we have a tornado warning for basically the east side of Orlando, and it extends all the way to the coast. This is a severe line of thunderstorms that goes from, say, Daytona Beach all the way down into Polk County. So zooming in, you can see a lot of red there. These red lines indicate where the tornado warnings are. And there's really one main tornado warning at this point that we're watching. And it's this cluster of storms that extends from Geneva down to the east side of Orlando. And so within this line, there's actually 3 locations where rotation is present. So a funnel cloud, maybe a brief touchdown of a tornado possible. So because of that, we kind of have a wide net here cast of a tornado warning, and this will last until 6:45. This will include I-95 between Titusville and just south of New Smyrna Beach areas, all the way over to the east side of Orlando. Again, a tornado warning for the next 35 minutes with that. I'm changing over to velocity mode, and you can make out here the changing of the green and red. That indicates a squall line, but when you see little notches in it, that's where we're seeing the potential for rotation, so embedded rotation in that squall line of thunderstorms, and Tom has been circling those, and they're kind of along this line, which right now extends from Chuliota over toward the UCF area and then down toward Lake Nona. And then
so be in the Wedgefield area. Someone just emailed when you talk about Wedgefield. Indeed, we are.
Yes.
We're going to get to everybody because the weather's coming your way. You are in that tornado warning as well. Right now, I think between Wedgefield and Bithlo and that corridor is where we're going to see that little nugget work on through, and we're kind of keeping an eye. This is the strong winds coming in from the west behind our storm system. So the Dr. Phillips area, you're in the clear. Downtown Orlando, we're in the clear as far as any rotation, storm, etc. Still windy up in Winter Garden, you're in the clear. Kissimmee, you're coming out of the worst of this. So now we're in the St. Cloud area right now. You're getting very strong winds rolling through the Lake Hart, the airport area, watching some squalliness there. As we pan our way up here, George, we'll keep an eye on these little nuggets right there, 1, 2, and 3, with some rotation here between Oviedo and the UCF campus, and that's all moving northeast at 55 miles an hour. So if you're along Lockwood Boulevard, Corporate Boulevard, Research Parkway, so that's the UCF campus proper right there. Todd, our studio director, saying we're in the hallway with crazy winds in Conway. So indeed, that's one of the safer spots to be. Hall or closet or bathroom. The storms are going to be coming in from the west, so the stronger winds will be on the west side of your house. Also watching a bit of rotation here. This blue color indicates just the wind shear. Jones Landing northeast of Oviedo, and another one also up approaching State Road 46 in Geneva. So George is kind of like whack-a-mole. I've used that term before, but yeah, it's just one storm after another. And nothing that really stands out on any of these that they're producing a tornado right now, but they certainly are rotating. And here's the wind, George. This is that cell that's near Chuliota. And then we got this little storm right over here, another one down over here. So little discontinuities in the wind giving us some issues right now. By the way, we're up in, where's our cameras? I'll say it again, sorry. Coming up on 436 in Orlando. Okay, so they're going to be down, heading toward the airport, the UCF campus. That's our live tracking camera there on the right. So very heavy wind and rain as we go ahead and zoom out just a little bit and do a quick reset. We are still expecting to see potential tornadoes for probably about another 45 minutes, I would say, George, out of this line of storms that is stretching now on the east side of Orlando, eastern side of Seminole County, and going all the way up in toward the coast south of Daytona Beach. So that whole squall. And we have seen some pretty gusty winds and some lightning kind of co-located, and that means we have an updraft in the area, and that can mean we have a rotating storm. So
I'll do a velocity query. You can see kind of the gusts embedded in this line. Easily 40, 50 mile per hour wind gusts in here, although I'm not sampling them at this moment. But this line, again, looking at Lake Nona just to the north right here, a little notch. And you're talking about the lightning. Lightning also a threat with this thunderstorm as it moves through. So damaging winds, even if a tornado is not present in your neighborhood, stay inside away from the windows, let the storms pass. Right now, changing modes over to reflectivity. So this is the standard mode where the reds indicate the heaviest rain. A lot of lines there, but the main line you need to realize is that red line, that big box, is the latest tornado warning until 6:45, which includes now the east side of Oviedo toward Geneva, all the way down to UCF, down toward Lake Nona. This will be moving away from Orlando downtown into places like Bithlo, Wedgefield, Christmas, Titusville, Mims, up toward south sides of the southern areas around Edgewater, and then the National Seashore there, the north side of Merritt Island, north side of Cape Canaveral.
Okay, we'll start here to the north, George, and I think we're just coming past the UCF campus right now with strong winds. I'll do a little quick storm track on that. So it's moving east-northeast at about 45 miles an hour, heading in toward the Chuliota area in the next 6 minutes. No sign of any definite tornado with that, but just something that we're keeping a close tab on. This little cell that's near the Bithlow area does have a higher, what we call a Barron Tornado Index, BTI 4.0, and that usually tells me that, yeah, it does definitely have some rotation to it. Lake Pickett, that's over by our transmitter and radar, by the way, about a minute away, coming in toward the Turnbull, the East Mims area in about the next 15 minutes, and moving in towards Mims and Scottsmore as well. Farther down here toward the south, we're still seeing some pretty gusty winds south of Azalea Park. That's, again, moving back into the UCF campus, which is getting hammered pretty good right now. So that, see, it says mezzo northeast 71. So, George, we've had all kinds of crazy wind speeds with these particular storms. They're all moving very, very fast. So certainly straight line winds will be an issue with it. And you can just see generally downtown Orlando, if you're trying to figure out what to do now, we mainly just have rain. So the worst of the weather has moved through Kissimmee. It is moving into St. Cloud. It is right over Lake Nona. It is in the east side over by the UCF campus. East of Oviedo now, as we're moving into Chuliota, the Wedgefield subdivision, right along 520, you're coming up next. And we have eastern sides, again, that Chuliota, Geneva area. That continues to move on through. George, you've got a little storm track there to show.
Yeah, so because of the kind of disconnected nature of this warning, I went ahead and I just drew a storm track of the whole line, and it's moving through Bithlow essentially right now, depending on your neighborhood. Wedgefield, 5 minutes away. So if you're in Wedgefield, waiting for the storm, waiting for the strongest part of the storm, still 5 minutes away. Christmas, almost 10 minutes. I'd say 8 to 10 minutes.
You're listening to the WDBO Storm Center team coverage along with Channel 9 Eyewitness News, Chief Meteorologist Tom Terry and meteorologist George Waldenberger, who is both of whom are weather scientists, and they have been guiding us through tonight's storm system. The real big takeaway for you right now, if you're just joining us, is that all of these storms, the heavy part of the storms, are now moving away from the population centers of Orlando. They're moving away from St. Cloud. They're moving away from Orlando, away from Deltona, away from Sanford, away from the theme parks, away from SeaWorld, away from the attractions. They're heading out towards the beaches and then ultimately heading out into the Atlantic. Now, there are more storms that are coming behind it, but the entire storm system keeps moving to the south. So it is not expected to impact. We're not expecting any more severe storm activity in the greater Orlando area tonight, though, as Tom and George have pointed out, we do still have a tornado warning that is in effect with a tornado spotted on radar, that for another 22 minutes, and that's actually out towards UCF. So we're still going to keep a close eye on that, though it is time to get an update, though, on tonight's tumultuous drive.
Now, from the Bogan Munz & Munz WDBO Traffic Center. Auto accident? Choose Bogan Munz & Munz.
All right, who had tumultuous on the list for things for Joe to say? Who had that one? To be honest with you,
I liked
Joe,
earlier that Tom Terry asked George Waldenberger if he was interrogating the storm system, and I needed to look it up. It's like, well, hang on, I got to figure out in what context interrogating a storm makes sense, because I got to start using that word like that.
Okay, perfect. Well, again, I invented the word balk. Remember the other day where things are balked up. It's like, okay,
yeah,
we can just say whatever we want. Apparently, I-4 is looking really good right now. And the good thing about this is that we normally see a lot of accidents, a lot of crashes here in the severe weather. Tonight, we didn't see a lot of wrecks, and very little, to be honest with you. So people kept the speeds down and the flow kept going, and we didn't have any tornadoes touch down onto the highways either. So right now we're looking really good on I-4 for the most part. Just some really bunched up traffic past 192 through Champions Gate, but that's your normal slowing. The storm is still into the east there. So the 417 north of the 528. So if you're going to go between 408 and 528, you're going to see some slowing there and down by Meadow Woods. But other than that, we're looking okay. This report sponsored by Wawa. Wawa celebrating 2024 with any 20 or 24 ounce freshly brewed hot coffee for $2. Pour more of your favorite coffee at Wawa. From the WDBO Traffic Center, I'm Paul Cross.
This is WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk.
Fence Outlet has the largest selection of fencing options in the state.
Yeah, Frank, I was surprised when I heard the kids were getting out early. I'm like, I'm not sure that was needed. But I guess better safe than sorry. Better send everybody home than a tree fall on someone and kill them, right?
All right, gang, what's new? Kind of a boring night, huh? Nothing going on.
That's funny, Frank. But I'm dis for you too. Everybody making the jokes.
Sources of Severe Weather Center 9 and the National Weather Service. Storm Center coverage has been activated. Orlando's severe weather coverage starts now.
I know I should have paid closer attention in geometry class, as we've got all kinds of amazing shapes showing up on our radar in different geometrical boxes that indicate different levels of storm activity. But it is a very robust image this evening of storm activity across Central Florida. If you're just joining us, the good news, if you will, is that all of these storms are now moving away from the Orlando area. For the first half of the night, they were all moving towards us. Now they're moving away from us, and they will soon become South Florida's problems and Southwest Florida's problems. But at the current moment, though, we are still watching. We've got multiple warnings and watches that are in effect. including a tornado warning that remains in effect for another 13 minutes until 6:45 p.m. tonight. We have this tornado warning that is in effect. And let me give you some information on this particular tornado warning. This is for parts of Seminole, Brevard, Orange, and Volusia counties until, as I said, 6:45 p.m. We go now live to Channel 9 Eyewitness News meteorologist Tom Terry and George Waldenberger.
Mention of the same weather we've been tracking in Osceola County. Please note, if you're in Osceola County, you are not under a tornado warning. You are under a severe thunderstorm warning. The threat for pockets of damaging wind are there. The threat for a tornado, though, higher on the east side of Orange County, and this now extends into northern Brevard County and southern Volusia County. So kind of zooming in here, it's tough to identify the little notches, the little nuggets.
They're hard to see, aren't they?
Very hard to see, and there's several of them. Exactly, that's where I do this. So between Mims, just north of Mims, so between Mims and Scottsmore, there's a little bit of rotation there, so there could be a potential funnel cloud. Weak tornado can't be ruled out in the next 10 minutes as this eventually crosses State Road 3 and then moves over Mosquito Lagoon and then off the coast.
There's so much wind overall with this storm that even though you may or may not get a funnel cloud or a brief tornado, there's so much wind blowing through here that it just may be just a big mess as it comes on through. East of Lake Nona now, the weather is now pretty much past the Wedgefield, near the Wedgefield subdivision. Bithlow and Christmas, nothing that jumps off the page as a tornado on the ground. That's a good sign right there. Let me go and switch back over here. And there's that 7-day forecast. By the way, we got another storm system coming on Friday. We're going to keep an eye on.
Another front next week.
And another one early next week. But first thing is first, we do have this storm system. Let's zoom in a little bit more. So if you're down in southern sections of Osceola County, we do have the weather right over St. Cloud. Very gusty winds and some rain through there. And we are over by the airport. That's where we're driving right now. You can see that not a whole lot of traffic over there. They actually still have, I believe, a ground stop. It was supposed to go through 6:30. They will probably start to lift that here shortly now that the weather is moving east of the airport. So it's right through the Beachline Expressway, east of Lake Nona now, as we kind of slowly pan our way up here. This is the Bithlow area with some lightning. And we're going to be moving in toward the St. Johns River Basin, east of UCF. So you can come out of your closet or bathroom, UCF University Park area, Oviedo. You're past the worst of this. We did hear that the tornado sirens had gone off in Oviedo, one of the few locations in Central Florida that actually have tornado sirens. I had one in my small town in Oklahoma. It went off occasionally as well. There's Daytona Beach. You can see the heavy rain still in the coast there. We pan our way farther north, George. Still the heaviest weather rapidly approaching, and it's going to be just south of New Smyrna and Edgewater.
Yeah, and on the east side of your screen, that's where our storm chasers, our severe weather chaser 9 is driving around. When we get a latest location, please let me know. But to summarize, just the heaviest line of thunderstorms now extends from New Smyrna Beach through Oak Hill, through the east side of Bithlow. It's pushing toward Titusville, and it extends down towards St. Cloud. Now, the tornado warning, I think we just got an update to it.
Yeah.
Okay. We got an update, but they kind of shaved off a few areas. The latest look at the tornado warning now has shifted east of Bithlow. Okay.
There's the airport, by the way, George. By the way, I've been told it's 7:30, right, Karen? So they extended the ground stop until 7:30. So if you are expecting loved ones, they may be in a holding pattern or may have had to fly into another adjacent airport, or if your flight, it will be delayed because everything has stopped there really for the last hour and a half.
Check the flight status before you head down there. There can be traffic jams when a lot of people head down there.
Reading the update here, we just got George coming through. Severe storm still capable of producing tornadoes located from Oak Hill to Mims to Wedgefield, moving northeast at 50. So the fluctuation in the speed continues.
And Titusville is in the path of the storm. So the entire city of Titusville under a tornado warning. There's a large population center there. A lot of people live there. And this is on the north side of Port St. John as well, all the way up to Scottsmore, I-95 through there. So we're shaving off the backside of this, which is good news. Geneva no longer in the tornado warning. Oviedo, Bithlow no longer in the tornado warning. East side of Orlando out of the tornado warning. But zooming in, it's a really strong storm from Southmere to Mims, approaching Titusville, Scottsmore, and then up into southern Volusia County around Oak Hill, Bethune Beach and Edgewater on the northern tip of this tornado warning.
Yeah, so this is essentially a long line of severe thunderstorms. We're probably getting wind gusts around 50. That usually will coincide with the speed of the storm. I haven't seen any downbursts going on with this that could accelerate some of those winds. But as you can see there, George, all the way from Edgewater south toward Oak Hill, that's where we have the line of storms right now. And you kind of showing the polygon here. This is the wind shear.
And actually, Zellwood, is that where a storm chaser is? Okay, a storm chaser is in Zellwood. So on the backside of the storm, looks like driving around. Roadway's still wet, but Zellwood all the way over toward Apopka, Mount Plymouth, Mount Dora, in the clear. There will be some rain, sure, but the strongest part of the storms have shifted east of this area. Their storm chasers are driving around looking for things like damage. They look for trees down, see if they see any sign damage. But the storms have shifted east of that area. It's a good way of patrolling and seeing and assessing the damage as the storms earlier rolled through Orlando. Tom, Christmas, we're seeing some kind of disjointed circulation there or potential rotation.
Little blue specks on here. So yeah, the dark blue is the lowest amount of wind shear. So it goes up from there. So as long as we see dark blue, that is on the low end of the scale, which is good for this case. But up there just west of Titusville, so coming into Mims, coming into Titusville proper, everything moving rapidly east at 55 miles per hour. So that'll be through I-95 here very shortly.
Yeah, and we've been tracking a large area of a tornado warning, but at this point, Titusville north towards Scottsmore and into Volusia County, I-95, that's where the strongest part of the storm is moving right now. So please stay off of this section of I-95 right now. Again, that's between Oak Hill and Titusville, I-95. Not a good time to get on that highway. Even farther south toward Port St. John, just stay off I-95. Let these storms pass. It won't take very long. Stay inside, away from the windows. Keep the kids and the pets safe, and just wait for this line of storms to push through. There's a few little areas of rotation, so a weak spin up, a weak funnel cloud possible until this thing shifts basically over Merritt Island and then moves offshore.
So here's Summer Boulevard again. This will be heading out of the airport area, so everything has kind of quieted down in the airport. So they still have the ground stop officially at OA till 7:30. We're still watching this tornado warning area in extreme northern sections of Brevard County. Nothing that just jumps off the page as being a slam dunk tornado. Let me zoom in. This is our early warning Doppler 9 radar, and we kind of look for the reds and the greens and the undulations, etc. There's a little bit of a discontinuity here, maybe something up in here, but nothing that, again, it's kind of gets difficult because it's a squall line, and you can get little kinks in the squall line, and that can be producing not only strong gusty winds in the Titusville area, but also a brief tornado. So I'll storm track this real quick. Fortunately, it's moving so fast, George, that we're going to have this offshore before we know it, but it's moving. Let's go 60.
And as you track the camera on the right, 1792 going north into Sanford. So still in the backside, just basically assessing if there's any damage in Seminole County. Thomas, storm track?
So there we go. There's Mims coming up here. It's on top of you now. There's Titusville in about 5 minutes time over by the Yacht Club. We get into Port St. John, the Sharps area, Merritt Island, and Audubon. So everything is moving quickly. We have officially about 9 minutes left in this tornado warning because it's moving so fast.
It's a quick mover, 60 miles per hour at times. This line surging. We've had estimates up to 70 miles per hour. Again, Titusville, Port St. John, Sharps, all in the tornado warning. The strongest part of the storm about to pass you and pass over I-95 there. In addition to that, there's a potential for just straight line wind as well in between these areas of rotation. So just please realize, even if you don't have a confirmed tornado, you could still see damage. Broken windows can't be ruled out. I just want to keep you safe. We want everybody in the path of the storm to be ready for it. So that's why we're covering everybody here.
So just a quick check here. We have cleared out the rain almost entirely far to the west where we had storms coming in when we started our broadcast at 4 o'clock. And again, the storm timing was impeccable with Doppler 9, showing it now moving south of Daytona Beach. We still have rain for about another couple of hours behind this. There we go. There's our live camera. So we're right on, was it in the Sanford area?
It was right? 1792.
So, yeah, so we got some showers there. We still have some heavier thunderstorms across northern sections of Brevard County, southern Volusia County. It now stretches into eastern Harmony, Narcoossee area, and Deer Park. So those storms keep moving rapidly. And it's just moving so fast, it's almost offshore here in the next 5 to 10 minutes.
Why don't I do one more quick storm track? First, we'll identify, I just want to point out these areas: Shiloh, Oak Hill, Mosquito Lagoon, the National Seashore south of Bethune Beach, Dummit Grove, Mims, over toward the east side of Southmere, and it's headed into Titusville right now. So one more storm track. It's hard to get a lot of cities, but we'll do it with this storm. Again, quickly moving to the east, approaching 60 miles per hour or stronger. So storm track, some areas within Port St. John in 5 to 10 minutes, Titusville just a few minutes, and some of the western communities, they're already seeing the winds pick up and the rain falling. Merritt Island, the north side of Merritt Island, 10 to 15 minutes, and then this storm will move offshore. So just like Tom was saying, we have about 6 more minutes of the tornado warning. This strong storm should push offshore in the next 10 to 15 minutes. And then behind it, we have severe thunderstorm warnings. So as you follow this line back towards St. Cloud in Osceola County, and then over the Turnpike, and then east of Point Siena, this is capable of some damage, but not quite seeing the circulation enough for a tornado warning in Osceola County right now. But just be advised, they're pretty strong in Osceola County. Severe thunderstorm warning for Osceola County that will continue as the storm surges toward Brevard County. So that's what we're going to be watching next. And now I just want to give you a heads up. If you're in Brevard County, you do have a severe thunderstorm approaching you, and this will take 1 to 2 hours to clear that area. So, Tom, it's kind of an all-afternoon, early evening affair, but we're getting there, and it looks like we have another storm report. I'll check that out when you jump in and show me what you've been analyzing.
Yeah, I was just kind of watching what you were doing there. We're going to check that wind query, but they had wind gusts 51 knots, I believe, earlier today at the International Airport, 59 miles an hour. So that was from earlier, so just after 6 o'clock. So that is a definition of a severe thunderstorm wind gust. And the main storm complex with this, George, shifted north and is well to the north. You can zoom out a little bit if you choose and kind of give a last check here. Hopefully, if this warning will expire on time at 6:45, we'll be able to go back to regular programming, world news here, as we won't have any additional tornadoes going on, or at least the potential for tornadoes. We're still watching this like a hawk. Trust me, we'll break in if we need to. That's what we do. But the rain continues to move through. Basically, the northern side of Brevard County, Georgia, I think is going to be the last little nugget of potential trouble out of this. It's quickly moving over the rivers now and will be moving offshore. But we've had wind gusts. You saw 59 miles an hour in Orlando. We have our news crew, of course, our live storm chaser there that's on 436 area, just near the airport, where the ground stop goes till 7:30. It's been a couple
hours. As you here with Tom Terry and George Waldenberger, and we've been watching the same as the tornado warning is to expire in about 60 seconds from right now. And as that does, that also brings to an end our continuous coverage of this event. We are in continuous coverage when storms are moving towards Orlando. Severe storms are moving towards these are the definitions by which we activate our storm center. And that is when there is a severe thunderstorm warning in our 3-county area, that is Seminole, Orange, or Osceola counties, we activate our storm center. And if there is a tornado warning in any of our 3 counties or adjacent counties, and the tornado warning is moving towards Orlando, we activate the storm center, and none of those are going to be in effect. Well, the tornado warnings won't be in effect. We do still have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 7:15. And with that, we don't typically engage in continuous coverage for that. So we will be stepping down our coverage of these storms because, yes, the tornado warning just expired. We'll keep the Storm Center activated until 7:15, but our continuous coverage will wrap. We do, of course, want to get an update on the drive here tonight.
Now, from the Bogan Munz & Munz WDBO Traffic Center, auto accident, choose Bogan Munz & Munz.
Well, one thing the rain did is it kept the speeds on the roadways way down, and that kept the flow moving. So we don't have really too many brake lights or slowdowns right now. Most of the roads are drying out, no rain, but we do have just a little bit of minor slowing. I-4 westbound. This is between World Drive and 429. But again, it was really a mess during the time of the rainstorms, but right now it's looking pretty good. We do have a crash on the 528 eastbound ramp to Tradeport Drive and a crash on Kings Heath Road just north of 192. They had the left lane closed there. This report sponsored by Wendy's. With Wendy's breakfast, 2 for $3 biggie bundles, you can choose the pair you want. Limited time only during breakfast hours. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price. From the WDBO Traffic Center, I'm Paul Cross.
This is WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk.
It seems
Severe Weather Center 9 and the National Weather Service. Storm Center coverage has been activated. Orlando severe weather coverage starts now.
Yep, our storm center is still active, and at this point will be till 7:15. Though the major threat has now passed the Orlando area. All that we have left as far as warnings and watches go, we do have a tornado watch in effect for most of Central Florida, and even that has been collapsing. They've been dropping that as the storm passes through. But we also have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 7 o'clock, and that is for the closest there is Polk County, so that one doesn't count. Sorry, I mean, for all of our listeners in Polk County, y'all count, but not by our definition do you count. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect in Osceola County until 7:15. That counts. Y'all count too. We love all of our listeners in Polk and Osceola counties. But we're not going to be in continuous coverage, and we will return to our regular programming coming up, now. And then at 7 o'clock, we'll get the third hour of the Sean Hannity Show. A couple things that are happening right now. One, there is a major scandal in the stock market as somebody this afternoon evidently hacked or took over the @SECGov X account or Twitter account, and they sent out a tweet that changed the listing and trading of Bitcoin, and it sent the market into a tizzy, if you will. That's a financial term. I'm sure you understand. It was a false Bitcoin ETF post made by what they say is an unknown party, and they're looking into that. This as there is what appears to be a violent and bloody coup attempt happening in Ecuador as armed gangs took over a television station there. The TV station has since been retaken control of by the Ecuadorian military, but a number of Ecuadorian prisoners have all been freed, and they are literally executing people on the streets. It is quite brutal and bloody and disgusting. I have regrettably watched several videos of people being executed. It is terrible what's going on in Ecuador. You will likely hear about that more tomorrow. And then right now on Fox News,
then they're voting
Ron DeSantis, who was in Tallahassee earlier today, is back in Iowa taking questions from a town hall. Let's listen in.
As the only candidate that can unite the country, because look at it. Trump gets elected, half the country is still going to be divided. And hopefully they don't go to any.
Well, speaking of divided, you do have a question for the governor.
I do have one. And but I believe Ron can unite the country. We got to have somebody that we can all stand behind, Republican or Democrat.
Yeah, the guy's not going to ask this question, is he?
And he's the guy that can do it.
What's your question?
Thank you.
Okay, well, my question, Ron, is it took 48
Well, I can snip
years.
what you just said, package that, and run that as an ad in Iowa over these last few days, because I appreciate that.
Yeah, but it took 48 years for us to overturn Roe versus Wade. I'm a Christian, right? So I was in that battle. And then now that we get it done, the Republicans are running from it. They're hiding from it. I mean, why don't we own it? I mean, that's what we want.
That's what's happening right now on Fox News. Coming up next here on WDBO, you'll get the third hour of the Sean Hannity Show. Osceola County, you still have a severe thunderstorm warning. That is going to be in effect until 7:15. We were told that the airport was in a ground stop until 7:30, and yet Terry in our chat group says he's hearing planes taking off from there. Maybe it's planes that are landing there, and because they've been circling for the last hour or so. We're back with you tomorrow afternoon, 5 till 7. Don't forget, tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. is your next chance to win $1,000 in the WDBO payroll payout.
Now, from the Bogan Munz & Munz WDBO Traffic Center. Auto accident? Choose Bogan Munz & Munz.
Yeah, definitely the rain has caused some calm on the roadways this evening because there really are no major delays anywhere throughout Seminole, Orange, and Osceola counties. Just seeing a little bit of brake lights after World Drive, I-4 westbound as you're making your way into the Champions Gate area. Other than that, things are looking pretty good. This report sponsored by Jackson Hewitt Tax Services, home of the money today guarantee. Get a tax refund advance loan at Jackson Hewitt now. No fee refund advanced offered to eligible clients. Application required. Loans by Republic Bank. Details at jacksonhewitt.com. From the WDBO Traffic Center, I'm Paul Cross.
WDBO Orlando. WOE.
Well, that was exhilarating tonight, wasn't it? Looked like I picked a terrible night to quit sniffing glue. All right. Have a great night, everybody. Good job, Greg. Good job, Laurel. Good job, Paul. Thanks, everybody in our chat group, and we'll see you back here tomorrow afternoon with better weather tomorrow.